people are really struggling with this, with the balance. And there's also at the same time a labor crisis, a labor shortage in this country, right? And the agent level is some of the obviously the lowest tier in terms of pay. How are companies balancing that right now as well?
I think if they've got a strong brand and people want to work for them, I think they've got a leg up. Where I think it becomes muddy, and I have been in the BPO space probably 80% of my contact center career. So I'm a subject matter expert on BPO, where you're forced to drive toward a contract, just not the customer experience. And I think the BPOs, and we're seeing it now, are really struggling because they historically don't pay as much, right? Than someone with a name brand company. So that will maybe get you in the door, but you have to be able to engage your employees. And what do employees want? You need to ask them. Don't pretend you know as a leader, whether you're a contact center manager, director, consultant, senior level person, you need to ask your employees what they want. And what they're going to come back and tell you is they don't want to be on the phones all the time. They don't want to be strapped to a chair for 8 hours a day, two 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch. They're bored. The Gen Zs and the millennials, they want to say and how things are run. They're independent, much different than Gen X's or the baby boomers. So you have a different types of generations inside of contact centers. They want to be involved. They want to be heard. And I think the best way to engage, and this is what I've been doing now for 20 years, is I never make a decision as an executive without asking the front lines. And people always say this, Vic, doesn't that take a lot of time? And I'm like, you're going to spend the time either way, right? You're either proactive and find out what your employees want, or you're doing damage control, right? And in work at home, I will tell you a very slippery slope. When you see that number show up on a report, you're already out of control because it's a very slippery slope and it's hard to turn it around. You can't go get the muffin lady or have an ice cream social and get everyone pumped up with sugar, right? And throw the beach ball around and do the wave in the brick and mortar. You can't do that the same way in work at home. So you have to get ahead of your numbers. And the way to do that is to have a pipeline right to those front lines. So what I have done for years is I will do 10 to 15 calls a week personally to the front lines. So bypassing 3-4 levels between me and the ground, I will literally pick up the phone, arbitrarily just pick numbers, and I call people. And people will either pick up, and if they don't pick up and they find out it's me, I'm programmed into their phone, and I tell them I'm just passing through, I've got 5 minutes, tell me what I need to know. And you will be amazed at what you will hear from folks. If you just feed it back to them in a communication feedback loop is what we call it, you're going to be able to get great ideas to engage them. So don't try to spend so much time figuring it out. Ask your folks, because I will tell you another real slippery slope. Everyone is trying to do the latest and greatest employee engagement, the software, and I love employee engagement software, by the way, but you got to figure out how to engage. You can't rely on software. You have to figure out your program first, and your technology helps you get there, but you have to figure out the program. So you literally want to be able to get the information for the folks and then feed it back to them and survey, let them have a say in exactly what they're going to be engaged with. And that is helping them develop. That's what they truly want. So smaller steps in compensation instead of bigger ones, pseudo leadership positions in the teams. And people say, well, now they're off the phone, it's going to cost more money. Be creative. Don't even think out the box. You smash the box, it's gone. And you literally can increase your team size by having people do pseudo leadership roles. There's all different things that you can do to engage your employees and keep your manager ratios and your labor dollars exactly where they need to be. But ask your folks, I would say that.